Hello there, brothers and sisters. Hey, thanks for joining me again today. Today I've got a story about Tommy Robinson, and I don't think I've done one on him before. So, Tommy Robinson found not guilty of terror offense for failing to give police access to his phone at a Channel tunnel. I really don't know much about Tommy Robinson because I haven't researched him and done stories on him, so you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Please do tell me if I get anything wrong on this. I'm sort of aware of him. I know he's known as a very far right wing agitator in the UK, and the police do seem to take special interest in him and go after him a lot. Now, I don't know if it's really fair to say he's far right because it could just be like it is in America, where if you're not on the left, you're just far right. They just call everyone Nazis, fascists, and everyone who doesn't align with their ideology as far right. They would describe me as far right. And I don't think I'm far right. I think I'm center right and more libertarian than anything else. But the left has moved so far left in America now, and it seems to be in the UK too, that everyone who isn't far left has become far right. But tell me if I'm wrong about that. Given that, I knew he was a bit of an agitator, but I didn't know he was a terrorist. So let's read more. Police had demanded access to his iPhone under Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act. Very interesting. So I've worried about that. If I fly back to Heathrow anytime soon, I expect the SAS to come for me. And I'm sure they're going to ask for my phone. So I might have to make sure my wife's got a second phone for me so that when they take my primary phone, I've got some way to communicate while I'm in the country. All right, so he's a terrorist now under the anti-terrorist laws that the police can demand you unlock your phone. And in America, I believe it takes a court order for you to have to unlock your phone. And I'm not even sure if even that is possible because I'm not a lawyer. And the UK, I believe it's the same. I think the police cannot demand you unlock your phone under normal circumstances, but I guess if you're a terrorist, they can. So this will be a tricky one. And I also believe something else they did for these enhanced police powers is they demanded Apple give the UK government access to everyone's iPhone, give them the encryption keys. And Apple said, we don't even have those and we don't do that. It's a privacy issue. So they said, you know what? We will turn off our strongest level of encryption in the UK. And that caused a big backlash because privacy rights people said, this is just going to make it easier for hackers to get into our phones, British government. And I think the British government gave up on that one and said, okay, Apple, you don't have to do that. I think that's how it went down. In effect, it was giving the British government full unfettered access to your phone without a court order. Anytime they wanted to go looking at your data, they could. And I believe you really should have a court order to be able to do stuff like that. Let's see why Tommy Robinson was a terrorist. Tommy Robinson has been found not guilty of a terror offense after refusing to give police access to his phone when he was stopped at the border in a Bentley with thousands of pounds of cash last year. Okay, so I do know laws are different when you're crossing the border, but he is a British citizen. Just crossing the border in a Bentley with thousands of pounds in cash does not make you a terrorist, does it? Looks like the judge agreed. Robinson, 42, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, was heading to the Spanish tourist hotspot of Benidorm when officers detained him at the Channel Tunnel in Folkestone in July 24. Oh, so he was leaving, not returning to the country. During a 2-day trial last month, Westminster Magistrates Court heard police became suspicious and concerned about the far-right activist's demeanor. What? His demeanor made them suspicious? This is a guy that the police hassle all the time. I'm sure he's angry every time the police pick him up, and I'm sure he probably said some naughty words to the police, but that's enough to get you done for terrorism? Wow. Oh, I like his supporters outfit. That's awesome. I need one of those. The former English Defence League leader, who was driving a silver Bentley Battaglia SUV, so he's got some money, gave vague replies about what he was doing and made no eye contact with officers. They demanded access to his iPhone under Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act, which gives police the power to stop anyone passing through a UK port to determine whether they may be involved or concerned in commission, preparation, or instigation of acts of terrorism. Okay, so because he gave vague replies and made no eye contact, and he's Tommy Robinson, he gets charged of suspected terrorism and so detained for that. This seems bonkers to me because they could do this to anyone. Robinson, who denied failing to comply with the counterterrorism powers, refused, saying, "It's my work, I'm a journalist," before adding that the phone held information about vulnerable girls. Officers who recognized him led him to an interview room and seized his phone, the court heard. Asked to hand over the phone's PIN, he said, "Not a chance, bro." Under the Act, someone can be held for up to 6 hours, is legally obliged to answer questions, and can be held to have committed a criminal offense if they refuse to provide the password or PIN for electronic devices. Wow. No, people should never comply with this. Never. This law needs to be changed. Any cop can go on a fishing expedition against anyone, say, "We suspect you're a terrorist because of something," and boom, this happens to you. So this law is way too lax. No pins without a court order, I say. As they made their way to the room, he tried to film a video of himself saying he had been arrested and was told by officers to relax, the trial was told. During the trial, Robinson said in a video posted on X that Elon Musk had picked up the legal bill for his absolute state persecution. Yeah, Elon has started picking up the bills for some people who are using X, who he feels their civil rights are being abused because of things that they post on X. So I think if it wasn't for Elon Musk buying X, free speech would be dead in America and in a lot of the world, because it is a major source that's getting out real news. The campaigner had more than £13,000 and 1,900 euros on him when he was stopped and was traveling in a high-value car and was not registered under his name, the trial heard. He had also booked his tickets to travel on the day. All right, so it's a red flag to be traveling in somebody else's expensive car with a lot of cash. On Tuesday, District Judge Sam Guzzi agreed with the defense case that officers had discriminated against him because of what they knew about him. 100%. They said, "Hey, this is Tommy Robinson. We want to get access to his phone. We're going to nick him." And they just found a pretext to do it. 100%. The judge found Robinson not guilty of failing to comply with counterterrorism powers, saying the main reason for the stop was what you stood for and your political beliefs. Yeah, I cannot believe the officers could put into words a reasonable statement on why they believed Tommy Robinson was a terrorist. I need to go back and look into his activities in the past, but I don't think they rise to the level of terrorism, but I don't know. Tell me if you think he's a terrorist. Perhaps I'll do another story on Tommy and see what I really think about him. He also accepted the defense's argument that PC Mitchell Thurgood's decision to stop Robinson was based on a protected characteristic, adding, "I cannot convict you." Yeah, I think he stopped him for being a white British male who doesn't like migration. He might just be a patriot who loves his country, doesn't like his country overrun by illegals and all the crime and all the DEI woke nonsense. I am sure if somebody saw my videos, they would treat me exactly the same way. There were cheers in the public gallery as Robinson left the dock. I think this was a win. I'm glad Robinson stood up for his rights here. It doesn't appear that he did anything wrong if all he did was leave the country with a large amount of cash in a borrowed expensive car and really not want to cooperate with the authorities very much. That's just being a normal person. That's not criminal. And so tell me again if he's a terrorist. So I see this as a little like Palestine Action, right? Do I think Palestine Action should have gone on an RAF base and throw paint on aircraft? No. Do I think they're terrorists? No. I think Palestine Action is just like those knuckleheads who threw orange paint on Stonehenge. I might do a story about that later today. What did they get? Nothing. But Palestine Action got classified a terrorist organization, and they're arresting pensioners for supporting Palestine Action as a terrorist group. It's an overreach by the law. This is exactly what happened here with Tommy. It's an overreach because he has views that the government doesn't like. This is 100% censorship by the government because he has views that the government doesn't like. But because you have views the government doesn't like doesn't make you a criminal, or it shouldn't in a liberal free society. And it just shows there is no freedom of speech in the UK, or at least there's not at the police level. Luckily, Tommy got a judge who fairly adjudicated the law, in my opinion. And he got his day in court, but he shouldn't have had to get his day in court because by the police doing this, they're censoring everyone's speech because nobody wants to get nicked and have to go in front of the magistrate. So this is a win. And again, I would say anyone who runs into one of these situations, don't ever settle these cases. If you do, you're going to get a couple of years in jail. Make it go to a court trial, fight all of these. And luckily, Elon decided to help him on this one. If we don't fight this nonsense application of the law and this bad policing with civil disobedience, then it's not going to change. And this police state just keeps getting stronger. And the UK, my friends, is a police state today, in my view. Tell me if I'm wrong. Hey, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe if you do. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. Thanks. Bye.